Do we need a centre-back? Yes. Do we need one that hasn't been available for literally 365 plus days in the last 4 seasons? No. Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. And it hasn't taken long, has it? It hasn't taken long. Obviously, Levi Colwill has suffered a serious injury that we have reported on in the last few days. And initially, Fabrizio Romano comes out and he's like, no, they're happy with who they've got. And then Enzo Maresca comes out and being like, yeah, I kind of would like another centre-back. And, obviously he turned out to be okay, but Trevor Chalobah picked up an injury yesterday in the AC Milan game, though Chelsea have come out and said, no, he's okay, it's not serious. Okay, cool. So what, I've been pulled all over the place emotionally with this one, man. It's been a bit mental. But yeah, where we're at the moment is we're going to need another centre-back, right? So, maybe we've got one, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But with the links are starting to happen. There has been some crazy links with Ibrahima Konate from Liverpool, and I'm not going to give that one much air at the moment because I think that is a pure silly season chat. And I'm not going to indulge it until I see something a little bit more concrete. But what I have seen is supposedly Chelsea are offering a concrete bid of in and around £43 million for Barcelona's Ronald Araujo. So, let's talk about Araujo. Is he a good centre-back? Yes. Does he fit that left side quite well? Yes. Is the price affordable? I guess 43 mil is not actually that bad at the end of the day, like considering disaster tax is a thing. And I am generally a bit worried that if we go in for a centre-back, teams are going to be like, oh, you desperately need one because Levi Colwill was injured. So here's an extra load of money on the top of that. So 43 mil for a centre-back of Araujo's quality is not bad. But his injury record, man. His injury record rivals Reece James for time spent unavailable over the last few seasons. It is outrageous. And the list is quite lengthy as well. He's had ankle injuries and, abductor injuries and most worryingly, hamstring injuries, right? So we're going to go through the last 4 seasons. I've got my little phone here. And let's have a little look at Araujo's injury record over the last 4 seasons. So we'll start in the 21-22 season. 5 injuries, 68 days missed. That's a fair chunk of the season. Okay. 22-23. 3 injuries, 113 days missed. Right, okay. So that's literally half a year in the first 2 seasons. Okay, that's quite a lot. 23-24, 2 injuries, 41 days missed. All right, okay, it's getting better, Okay, maybe he's, starting to build back up his strength and coming through it. Okay, cool. 24-25 season, 3 injuries, 160 days missed. Man, literally missed nearly half a season. Oh, mate, this is just outrageous, isn't it? Yes, we desperately need a centre-back, but if anyone knows about injury-prone defenders between Levi Colwill, Reece James, Wesley Fofana, not a defender, but Romeo Lavia as well. Mate, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I have to give credit to Blue Lounge for this one because I'd seen the links, but I hadn't deep dived into it. And he was the one that turned me onto it. And he was like, have you seen the guy's injury record? And I was like, nah. And we were talking about it a bit yesterday before the live stream we did. Go and check that out, by the way. It's up on Blue Lounge's YouTube channel. It was a really good time. But yeah, man, I looked through that list last night and I was like, oh my dear Gideon. And I looked at it again today and I'm just like, mate, no, surely not. What I understand is potentially we're not looking for a long-term acquisition because should things go the way that you want them to, Levi Colwill comes back in April. He maybe spends the rest of the season coming in and out of the team, playing in spits and spats, building up his fitness. And then by the start of next season, maybe he's ready to go again. So... But Araujo's 26 as well. I know that's old for Blueco. Do you know what I mean? I know that's old for Blueco. But it's not like, if we're going to go in for a temporary centre-back solution, then surely the thing to do is to, find a 29, 30-year-old. Do you know what I mean? Someone who's experienced and, got a good head on their shoulders and not an injury list as long as my arm. Do you know what I mean? So... Oh, mate, it's just a mess, isn't it? So we haven't been exactly linked with loads of other centre-back options. So Mark Gurhey obviously was being talked about, but apparently, and I need to verify this actually, he pulled up with an injury in the Crystal Palace game yesterday. So maybe that's not an option anymore either, because all of these centre-backs are dropping like flies. Maybe this has got something to do with the incredible amount of football that players are playing at the moment, and centre-backs definitely have a more involved role than they used to because they spend so much time on the ball now. So maybe there's something in that. Do we need to spend £43 million on a 26-year-old defender who is good, by the way? I'm absolutely not, denigrating his performance or his ability or his, skills or anything like that. Like, he looks like a good player. And when I first saw the link, I was like, actually, as far as I'm aware, without doing a deep dive into it, he's a good player. He's not super old. That sounds cool. And then I've just looked into the injury record and I'm like, mate, unless they're literally sneakily doing this, being like, well, we'll buy him and he'll barely get to play long term anyway because he's been injured for so often. So it just seems a bit weird, doesn't it, man? It just seems a bit weird. I don't want us to go and spend 43 mil on a player that knows all. This is what Blue Land said yesterday. Who knows all of the ER nurses by first name? Do you know what I mean? We've just had too much of that, man. We've just had too much of that. I got flashbacks of it yesterday in the AC Milan game, seeing Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and I was like, I loved Ruben Loftus-Cheek, but man, he was just never available. And between Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Wesley Fofana, Reece James, Romeo Lavia, do you know what I mean? All of these guys that have just been out injured for so long. It's like we're always waiting for the return of the prodigal son, and we've got millions of them. We've got the prodigal orphanage. Do you know what I mean? We've just got so many people that we've been constantly waiting for a player to come back from injury has just become a really normal thing to feel and understand as a Chelsea fan. Do you know what I mean? And there's always that thing in the back of their head, isn't there? It's like, it's like a new signing. When people always say that, don't they? It's like a new signing when someone comes back from injury. It's like Wesley Fofana will feel like a new signing because he didn't get enough time with us. Reece James, not so much because he played so much football. Romeo Lavia felt like a new signing when he came back from his first big injury spell. But again, even now, after being brought back in slowly and, do you know what I mean, being looked after and, taken care of, man's still out injured all the time. So is it one of those things? Is it Chelsea's medical department? Are we not up to scratch anymore? Or, like I say, is it just the growing and more effusively taxing nature of the constant, influx of football games that are happening without, prolonged breaks and stuff? Because yes, the players have just had 3 weeks off, but that's going to literally turn into that's all they're going to get every single year. And it's not like an office job, do you know what I mean, where you need to keep your physical stature up, do you know what I mean? These guys are literally athletes and they 100% have to be fit all of the time. I am a little bit concerned already that we're coming out of, obviously, we finished last season, played a lot of games throughout the whole season. We went into the Club World Cup and we won that. That's awesome. Because of that, we've had a less protracted pre-season, obviously only the 2 games. And now we're looking at the first game of the Premier League next week. But because there hasn't been much in the way of a break, are we going to start seeing a bit more of this, man? Do we need to start being worried about other players as well? Is Cole Palmer suddenly going to be out for ages? Do you know what I mean? Is Marc Cucurella? Mate, just imagine if Marc Cucurella gets injured. But either way, injuries are injuries, and that is just a thing that happens in football, and it can happen to anyone at any time, and it's very, very difficult to say, I think this guy might get injured. Do you know what I mean? As we saw with Levi Colwill, it can just come out of absolutely nowhere, and it can just shock you. You can also be lucky, like with Trevor Chalobah. The commentator said yesterday, do you know what I mean? The type of injury that Trevor Chalobah looked like he got is the type of injury that you're either fine in 10 minutes or you might be out for 3 weeks. So you can be lucky like we were. But I just don't think we need to gamble on a £43 million defender, even if he is good, because it doesn't matter if he's good if he can't play. We don't need to spend all of this money to pay for someone's medical bills again. Do you know what I mean? If he's not going to be able to be in the first team that much. It's a weird one, isn't it? Because when Benoit Badiashile and Wesley Fofana are back, all of a sudden it looks like we've got a few more options, and the left side, do you know what I mean, looks a little bit light. So that kind of brings me on to what I think we should do personally. And 100%, if you disagree with me about my next statement, let's talk about it in the comments. And I do understand there are obvious reasons why this might not happen, but I'm just trying to look at it from a logical perspective. And again, we had a chat about it on the live stream last night. Renato Veiga. It just makes sense to me. It absolutely just makes sense to me. He plays centre-back for Portugal. He played centre-back for Juventus for the back half of last season. What the disagreement on the panel was yesterday is that supposedly, now I haven't seen anything to do with this at all, actually, so please, again, in the comments, if you know something more about this than I do, tell me in the comments. But apparently there's some sort of idea that Veiga and Maresca have had a one-to-one falling out, and it is as much to do with that as the reason that we're looking to sell him. I've also had conversations with other guys being like, no, it's actually just because Renato Veiga wanted to go and play centre-back. And obviously with Levi Colwill in tow, Renato Veiga wanted a lot of first-team football in the centre-back spot. And, it was probably as much about not being a backup as it was, not even just playing the centre-back. We were playing him at left-back in central defensive midfield. Do you know what I mean? So he wants to play centre-back because that's where he plays for Portugal. And fair play to him, man. So does it not just make sense to try him before the window's out? Do you know what I mean? I know it's difficult, and you would have thought the best thing to do would have been to try him in the preseason games. Obviously, we've been giving Achiempong quite a lot of airtime over these last few games, and for me, though, it just kind of makes sense, man. Like, Renato Veiga is left-footed, technical, good ball-playing defender who wants to play centre-back, and there is now a spot open. So kind of where I'm at is, if there's been a falling out between Maresca and Veiga, the brass should say, kiss and make up, we bought this guy for 9 mil, and that is a better option than spending 43 mil on a player from Barcelona who spends half of his life on the injury table. I don't know, man. I don't know. So, yeah, for me, Renato Veiga seems like the obvious one. And at the end of the day, these guys are all career people. Do you know what I mean? If Renato Veiga has fallen out of Maresca, but there's an opportunity to play a lot of games in his preferred spot for a Chelsea team who are on the up and up and are going to be competing in lots of competitions next season, and there's going to be a lot of game time available, you just put your pride and ego behind you, don't you? And you're not like, oh, I don't want to play in this team because the manager wasn't very nice to me. I want to go to Atletico Madrid instead. Do you know what I mean? Diego Simeone, classically, everyone knows he's really nice to everyone. Do you know what I mean? Oh, mate, I don't know. So, yeah, for me, Veiga seems like the obvious shot. Like, if it's a straight shootout between spend 43 mil on Araujo and sell Veiga for 40 mil, which, okay, we make, obviously book profit, it's not as simple as one in, one out in terms of the money, but at the end of the day, we're going to pay more for Araujo than we are going to make for Renato Veiga. And we're definitely not going to be able to sell Araujo in the future for an inflated price because he's 26 now, which, like I said, doesn't actually fit the 25 and under thing that the Blue Coat absolutely love doing. And Renato Veiga cost us 9 mil. Do you know what I mean? So we're not necessarily going to be able to sell Araujo in a couple of years when he's 28, 29 for a massive profit. It will just be a loss. And it will be even more of a loss if we buy him and he gets injured so the big injury that he's had last season was a hamstring injury. A hamstring injury? Are you joking? Are you literally mad? How are we even considering this? Oh, mate, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just all a bit nuts, isn't it? So, look, man, I'm a YouTuber sofa manager. Do you know what I mean? I obviously, and I have no inkling into what's going on the training ground and what the issue between Veiga and Maresca might be, if there is one. And the thing is, as well, I'd seen just after the Levi Colwill injury, a couple of news reports being like the coaches all back Renato Veiga to take this spot. So if it is Renato Veiga who's pushing for the move and saying, no, don't want to stay here, then fair enough. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely fair enough. I get that. Because, don't keep a player on your books if he doesn't want to be there. 100%. And, Pep Guardiola does that, doesn't he? As soon as a player goes to Pep, it was the same with Sterling and, Gundogan when he left the first time. And any of Pep's good players that have come to him and been like, I don't really fancy this, I want to go. Pep's like, yeah, sound, off you go, mate, off you trot. Because team harmony is so important and you need people to buy into the philosophy to play good football. So if Veiga is coming out and being like, nah, I don't really fancy it, then fair enough. Okay, absolutely, he's got to go. But if it isn't that, surely that just makes the most sense rather than looking at spending all this money on, do you know what I mean, on Araujo, who may be good and he may be on his best day a really, really good option to deputise for Levi Colwill until we can get him back. But also maybe, not all, and not even maybe, like 4 years in a row, he's missed at least minimum 40 days, maximum 160. Do you know what I mean? Silly, man, silly. No, I don't buy into this one at all. there's not a huge amount of other centre-back options that I've seen us linked with yet. You know, there was talk about Jared Branthwaite at the start of the season, but he's just signed a long-term deal with Everton, and they're buying, you know, they've just got Jack Grealish on loan, I've just seen today, so they're really going for it. That's probably not going to be an option. Mark Guehi was maybe an option, although he did seem to favour Liverpool, but he's also just got injured in that Crystal Palace game. So again, we just need to not buy injured players. We're not Arsenal circa 2013. Do you know what I mean? We need to stop buying injured players. And yeah, man, so that's kind of my 2 cents on it. I think we do need a centre-back. I think Josh Achiampong looks really good, but I don't think we should put that pressure on him yet. I think we need to give him space to develop by being able to come on and play cup games and, do you know what I mean, really get more opportunities and appearances than he did last season. Yes, absolutely. Be thrown into the mix to cover for Levi Colwill's absence? Absolutely not. The other thing that I do keep seeing quite a lot as well is people saying about Yoro Hato, and I'm like, nah, man, that's not a good idea either. Yoro Hato played 6 games at centre-back for Ajax last season. Yes, he can do it, but the second you put Yoro Hato in that centre-back spot, then who depths for Cucurella? If you go, right, it's fine, we've got Yoro Hato, he can be the Levi Colwill replacement, but then what do we do about Cucurella? And it's not even just that. Like, Yoro Hato is not only the deputy for Cucurella, he's also the perfect deputy for Cucurella. He plays that left centre back inverted midfield role that Cucurella plays really, really well. And we've only seen that in a few spats at the moment, but aesthetically, from the eye test, he looks to provide a lot of the exact same positional stuff, at least, than Cucurella does. We're going to have to watch him grow into his game a little bit more. He got 6 assists last season, which is really good, so maybe he can be a creative force as well. But I don't think putting him in at centre back is a good idea. So we're just going to have to go along with this one and see how it happens. But I really, really hope we don't go in for Araujo, because it's just going to be silly, isn't it? Can you imagine if we buy him and he's like, oh, hamstring injury, out for 100 days, brilliant. Then what? Do you know what I mean? What was that even for? So yeah, we'll have to see about that one. And I'm going to stop talking about it now. I'm going to move on to something else. So Xavi Simons, right? The Xavi Simons deal. Why is it taking so long? A week ago, it felt like it was going to happen tomorrow. And now, what's going on? He excluded himself from Red Bull Leipzig's pre-season squad and, you know, their pre-season tour. And then the deal started taking a really long time, and he got himself back in, and not yesterday, the day before. He played a full 90 minutes for Red Bull Leipzig in their pre-season tour because obviously he wants to keep fit and keep playing football and stuff. So, bit of a weird one. I think there are some mitigating factors in this deal, and I think some of the mitigating factors in this deal actually come from the fact that Xavi Simons has only technically been a fully fledged Red Bull Leipzig player for 6 months. That's the mad thing, because obviously he's been at the club for 2 seasons, but he's only been an official Leipzig player for the last 6 months because he only got bought from them last January. So from Leipzig's point of view, they're looking at this asset that they invested £50 million euros into 6 months ago, and we're haggling with them for the price. And they're like, well, no, hold on a second. We've only had him for 6 months. So if we're going to sell him, we need to make profit on him. Do you know what I mean? Or at least make back what they lost. I'm not really sure. So it looks like Chelsea are not just going in and going, yeah, here's 60, 70 mil for him, which at the end of the day is a good thing, right? I don't think we should be fleeced for him, because he looks good, but I don't think he looks good enough that we should just pay whatever they ask. So yeah, you know, it makes sense from Leipzig's point of view that they want to make some money back for him, but also they need to sell to buy, I guess, because they've just sold Sesko. Xavi Simons doesn't want to be there and has kicked up a fuss about leaving, and that's never a good thing. Do you know what I mean? That's never a good thing. I am a bit worried about us buying all of these players that are kicking up a fuss to leave their clubs to come to ours, isn't it? It's just, yeah, hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us. But yeah, so what I'm seeing now, Chelsea are offering players, right? And what this probably won't be is a swap deal. I've talked about this a few times with a few of the guys on the streams and stuff that I've been doing. Swap deals aren't necessarily the best way to like financially improve your club's books. Do you know what I mean? Because you're not going to get the same amount straight onto your book. So for instance, if you swap a player, then their values swap, and the plus/minus or whatever is only made from the difference in the player's values on your books, not the actual money that you kind of signed them for. But if you sell a player 50 20 mil, whatever, that most of that goes onto your books and you amortize it over the course of the contract, don't you? So we're looking at offering not a swap deal, but I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine, I'll sell you someone, you sell us someone kind of way. Carney Chukwuemeka, who's also been credited with links with Dortmund, Christopher Nkunku, and Tyreek George. So those are the three names that I've seen. Is it a case of maybe two of them? Maybe it's, I don't even know, man. So Christopher Nkunku apparently is interested in going back to Leipzig. Leipzig are interested in having him back. That makes sense because his last amazing season, the last time that he had a really successful season, he's another one that was blighted by injuries, by the way, was at Red Bull Leipzig. Do you know what I mean? When he was playing as a shadow striker and he scored like 20 plus goals in that season. He wants to kind of restart his career and he could probably spend a season or two at Leipzig and then maybe, if he plays well enough, get another big move to another big European club. It's absolutely possible. Or he just really liked it there and he was like, do you know what, I'm just going to stay there because it was chill. So yeah, Christopher Nkunku, Carney Chukwuemeka, who's probably worth like 15, 20 mil. Tyreek George, depending on whether we do it with a buyback clause or not, would be somewhere between 15, 10 to 25, let's call it, 10 to 25 mil. I can imagine us selling him for 20, 25 if there's no buyback clause, 10 to 15 if there is a buyback clause. So this is complicating the deal, right? This is complicating the deal. And I guess from the Chelsea perspective, it's not like we're desperate for him. Do you know what I mean? Like, you look at our team in the last couple of days, man. Cole Palmer looking absolutely on fire. Esteval Willian is already being tested in that centre attacking role as well as that right wing role. Would it leave us a little bit light? Because obviously the situation we've got is you're one injury away from a crisis at any point, aren't you? So if we're looking to bring in Garnacho, that's obviously going to beef out the squad a little bit. We've got two good, able right wingers and a very young Genesis Antwi, who looks pretty good as well, who can come in and feature in a Tyreek George style way. We've got Reggie Walsh, who can also kind of provide that support. In a game that Tyreek George might have played last season, we've got the likes of Antwi and Reggie Walsh to come and fill in there. But then you're kind of splitting, then you've kind of got three players between two roles in your centre attack and your right wing. You've got Cole Palmer mainly going to feature in that middle, Pedro Neto mainly going to feature on that right, and Esteval to depth for both of them and interchange with both of them. So the issue you've got there is because you've got three players for two positions. If one player gets injured, then you've only got two players for those two positions before you're either dipping into the academy talents or you're starting to make do. Do you know what I mean? When it's like, okay, well, maybe we just put Garnacho on the right or Jamie Gittins on the right. Do you know what I mean? And all of a sudden, we're exactly where we were last season with Madueke and Neto featuring on the right because the options were threadbare. What a bloody nightmare, eh? What a bloody nightmare. And you know what? It's not a nightmare because I'm just being dramatic. The preseason looks wicked. The team's looking amazing. João Pedro and Liam Delap are both looking brilliant. Jamie Gittins has got some bedding in to do, but looks like a real talent. Esteval looks unbelievable. Pedro Neto is wicked. He is just a constant 7 out of 10 at the moment, and I'm really happy to go into the season with him. Cole Palmer is looking like he's back to his best. We've got loads of midfielders. We've got loads of fullbacks. We could do with one more attacker. I guess two more attackers based on everything I've just said, innit? But yeah, we could do with another couple of attackers for sure. So we're just going to have to see how it all goes, man. We are just going to have to see how it all goes. So to summarise, Ronald Araujo, no thank you. No, thank you. Our medical team have enough experience that we don't need to, improve their, skill set by bringing in more players with different problems and, give them something to do. The less our medical team have got to do, the better. And Xavi Simons, I think it's going to happen. I think Xavi Simons and Garnacho are both going to happen. I think both of them have potential to go to the wire. I think Garnacho maybe a little bit more so. Again, another thing we talked about on the stream yesterday is really interesting. They need to sell him more than we need to buy him. So we're not going to get, if United are haggling over getting like 3 or 4 mil, we're just going to be like, nah, and we'll just wait it out and they will sell him to us at the price that we want eventually. They need to get him out of the club. He wants to come to Chelsea. There's not loads of other teams in for him. So that one makes sense. Xavi Simons looks like it's just complicated, and it looks like it's getting more complicated because of the financial structure of the deal and trying to agree with Red Bull Leipzig about players that we're going to send their way. So that is it. I'm going to wrap it up there. Bit of an interesting one. At the end of the day, I'll finish on a positive. Pre-season looks wicked. I think Chelsea are ready. Go and check out my match review from the AC Milan game. So many reasons to be excited, and we've got real depth, real options, and a really, really exciting team going forward, right? You know, defence, obviously, we need to sort out a little bit. Goalkeeper, most people are generally feeling a bit more at ease about the goalkeeper stuff now. Sanchez looks to have improved. Over the course of the season, it's going to come down to whether he makes errors or not, and Philip Jorgensen has also performed well. Do you know what I mean? In that Bayer Leverkusen game, he was good. So, let's see what happens, right? Obviously, I'm going to keep my ear to the ground for more Chelsea news as ever. Guys, if you are enjoying the content, please do me the distinct honour of liking or sharing the video or subscribe to the channel, because we're on the race to 1,000 subs and I'm not so close. Do you know what I mean? I've still got like 300 to go. But at the end of the day, man, that 300, 10 weeks ago, that 1,000 felt like a lifetime away, and I'm here already, and it's all thanks to you guys, because you are a bunch of legends. So I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. Thanks very much for sticking around until the end of the video. I hope you all have an absolutely wicked day, and I will catch up with you very, very soon. Take it easy. Peace.